I am Sadanand Patharkar, working as an engineer in the thermal power station. Welcome to my channel Sadanand's Techno. This is my second video, and in this second video I am going to explain you how the thermal power station works, or working of the thermal power plant in brief. Here thermal means the heat energy. Here the heat energy obtained from the combustion of the coal is utilized to convert the water into the steam. The steam is generated at the higher temperature and at the higher pressure. So here this steam energy is used to rotate the turbine. The turbine is coupled with the generator with the help of the coupling, and here with the help of the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the electricity will be generated. After utilization of the steam is condensed in the condenser, and that DM water is again sent to the boiler for the closed cycle loop. This is called as a Rankine cycle. In India, nearly 70% of the power generation that we are using is we are getting from the thermal power station. Now, in this thermal power station, what are the raw material we are using? We are using the raw material, that is a coal, and then we are using the water, and then we are using the air, and some sort of fuel is oil. Means we are using the oil very rarely, means at the time of the startup, or at the light up condition, or at the emergency. Otherwise we are using only coal, water and air. These are the raw materials. Now in this thermal power plant we are having the 4 cycle. So first one is a coal ash cycle, second one is an air and flue gas cycle, third one is water and steam cycle, and fourth one is a steam and water cycle. The third and fourth, water to steam cycle and steam to water cycle, combined forms the Rankine cycle. Now in this thermal power plant, this is a generalized layout of the 250 megawatt kW power station. This is for the 250 megawatt. So here the main components of the thermal power plant is a boiler, then turbine, then generator, then condenser and BFP. So these are the main components of the thermal power station. It is a steam generator. It is a closed vessel. It is a huge structure, single drum, subcritical, natural circulation, balanced draft, dry bottom ash type, reheater type, corner fuel fired, water wall type, water tube type. So this is the boiler. So boiler is not a single element, means boiler consists of the economizer, boiler consists of the air preheater, boiler consists of the water walls, then the soot blower, then many safety walls, drain wall, vent wall. So such a huge structure is called as boiler. So this is the main unit, and this is the steam generator. It means here the steam will be generated, and this steam will be sent to the next turbine. So see here we will see the cycle. Now as I told, there are 4 cycles, like ash, like the coal and ash, like the air and flue gas, like the steam and water and steam. So here this is the bunker level. In the bunker level means we are storing the coal. In this bunker we will store the coal which is required for a total 24 hours or a 1 day. From this bunker the coal comes to the coal mill through the feeder. So these are the coal mills. Coal mills, this is the ball and tube type of mills, BBD 4772. This is a mill. So from this mill what will happen? Mill is a pulverizing unit. It means whatever the coal stones coming from the CHP department, that coal stones will be crushed very fine particles. It is called as pulverized coal. Means pulverized coal particles are very finely like our talcum powder. Then these coal particles are forced into the boiler or into the furnace. So in the furnace the coal particles will be burned out. So to carry this coal particle we need some transporting medium. That transporting medium is a PA fan. It is primary air fan. Primary air fan means what will happen? So this primary air fan will lift the coal particles from this coal mill and towards the furnace. Then next one is a FD fan. FD fan is a forced draft fan. Forced draft fan, it will provide the air. It will provide the air from the atmosphere, and it will provide to the boiler or the furnace through the wind box. So what is function of this air? This air will ensure that there is a total combustion of the coal particles in the furnace, and it will provide the excess percentage of oxygen in the boiler. Excess percentage, like the 4% of oxygen is required. Then next one is ID fan. ID fan is a induced draft fan. Induced draft fan means this will suck the air from the boiler. The combination of the forced draft fan and the induced draft fan combinedly make sure that there is a balanced draft in the boiler, or there is a slightly negative draft in the boiler. Negative draft means -7 mm of water column. So this is the draft. This combination of FD fan and ID fan will make slightly negative pressure in the boiler. Due to the fire or the fireball happened in the boiler, the flue gases generated in the boiler are passes through this part, like air preheater, ESP, ID fan, and through ID fan these flue gases are passes through the chimney. This is also called as a stack. So air preheater means this is the element in which the FD fan air and the PA fan air will get the heat energy from the flue gases. ESP is the electrostatic precipitator. So this is the element which will remove the fine ash particles from the flue gases. So in this ESP we are using the principle of induced electrostatic force. So ash is collected in the ESP hopper, and that we are collecting, and these flue gases are sucked by the ID fan and it will pass through the chimney. This hot wheel water will be lifted up with the help of the condensate extraction pump called as a CEP. So CEP discharge pressure is 20 kg per centimeter square, or having the temperature 45 degrees Celsius. So this CEP will lift the water from the hot well and it will send to the deaerator. Then after the CEP we are having the LP heaters. It is called as the low pressure heaters. In the 250 megawatt plant we are having the 3 heaters: LP heater 1, LP heater 2, LP heater 3. So in each LP heaters are the heating element, means heat exchanger. So LP heater will get the heat from the extraction of the turbine, and whatever the condensate water we are supplying towards the deaerator, its temperature will be boosted by 20 degrees Celsius in each of the heater, like 20 degrees Celsius. Then through these LP heaters the water is going toward the deaerator. So at this location we are having the station which is called as a deaerator level station. Okay. Then water goes to the deaerator. So here we are having the pressure of 6 kg and we are having the temperature. This is 160 degrees Celsius. Pressure is 6 kg per centimeter square. So deaerator means deaeration, or it is called as the oxygen scavenger. So whatever the oxygen or whatever the air present in the condensate water, that air or that oxygen will be eliminated in this deaerator. So that is the main function of the deaerator. Means pegging is also one of the function, and removal of the air, that is also one of the function, deaerator. So after the deaerator, then the main pump of the plant. This is the main pump, or it is the heart of the plant, you can say. It will provide the very huge flow or the heavy pressure, like the pressure is 170 kg per centimeter square and the flow is nearly 780 tons per hour. In our plant only one BFP is available. Two BFPs are available, but at a time only one BFP will run. It is having the 100% duty cycle. So this BFP is supplying the feed water towards the boiler drum. Okay, this is a very powerful pump. It is having the hydraulic scope. Hydraulic scope will adjust itself according to the load condition. Means if the load is less, then it will provide the very low flow, means corresponding flow and corresponding pressure. It is depend upon the scope of the BFP. Then next to the BFP we are having the HP heaters in our plant. HP heater 5 and HP heater 6, two HP heaters are there. This is called as high pressure heaters, whereas these heaters are called as low pressure heaters. Means here we are having the condensate water of 20 kg, so it is called as low pressure heater. Here we are having the feed water which is having the pressure of 170 kg. That's why it is called as HP heaters. And for this HP heater we have taken the extractions from the HP turbine and IP turbine, whereas for the LP heater we have taken the extractions from the LP turbine. Okay, so here for the each HP heater the rise of 40 degree of Celsius we can get. This for HP heater 5 40 degrees Celsius, and again for HP heater 6 40 degrees Celsius. This water goes to the drum via the economizer. Now what is the economizer? Economizer means it is one of the heat exchanger in which the feed water gets the energy from the flue gases. Okay, the feed water gets the heat from the flue gases. Now here also the temperature will be increases, and after the economizer, this DM water will be directly sent toward the drum. Now see here drum. The drum, this boiler we are having the single drum which is situated at the top position equal to approximately 55 meters. This drum is a water and steam separator. Okay, if that steam is a dry and saturated steam, then the steam will be passes to the next bank, that is a superheater. If that is not dry and saturated, then what will happen? This water particle will come through the downcomer. Then through the downcomer, it will goes in the bottom ring header. From the bottom ring header, the water means that is the DM water rises toward the drum through the riser tube or the water valves, and it will get heated. Okay, once it's attenuate the dry and saturated position, then it will be separated from the drum and goes into the superheater bank. In our plant we are having the 14 superheater. The last superheater is superheater header number 14. From the superheater header number 14, the steam we are getting, that is a superheated steam. Here from the drum we are getting the steam, that is a dry and saturated steam, and here from the superheater header number 14 we are getting the steam, that is a dry but superheated steam having the pressure 147 kg per centimeter square and temperature 540 degrees Celsius. This superheated steam is also called as MS steam, main steam, and this main steam is we are striking this main steam we are sending toward the HP turbine. So HP turbine, whatever the MS steam coming to the HP turbine with the through the HP control valve 1 and HP control valve 2, so the turbine will be rotated. This turbine will be rotated at a speed of 3000 RPM because we are having the generator of the 2 poles. So according to that formula, the speed is 3000 RPM. So here to control and to regulate the speed of the turbine, we are having the governing system that is called as ESTC, Electro Hydraulic Turbine Governing Control, and to monitor the various functions of the turbine like the vibration of the turbine, vibration of the shaft, vibration of the bearing pedestal, axial shift, and the shaft expansion. We are measuring the turbovisory parameter. We are having the total automation and total instrumentation. So this turbovisory parameter we are observing for the turbine and the generator set. Here for turbine and the generator set we are having the 7 bearings. Okay, and for this turbine bearing system we are having the low oil system, and for the generator hydrogen gas protection, for the generator hydrogen gas protection we are having the generator seal oil system. So here the steam is coming, MS steam is coming toward the HP turbine, and this turbine will be rotated, means the blades of the turbine will be rotated. So what will happen? This turbine is rotating at the speed of 3000 RPM. Ultimately the generator is connected with the shaft of the turbine with the help of the coupling. It means generator is also rotating with the 3000 RPM. Now here the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction will come. It means whenever conductor is placed in the permanent magnetic field, and if it moves laterally to the magnetic field, then EMF will be induced in that stator winding, or the current is flowing through the closed loop. So this is the working principle of the plant. So here the electricity will be generated. So what are the parameters of the electricity? Like in this plant we are getting 16.5 volt, 16.5 kV, ampere is 10.29 kilo ampere. It's 50 hertz AC. 0.85 is the power factor. So these are the parameters: 16.5 kilovolt, 10.29 kilo ampere. This is the AC voltage of 50 hertz, and power factor we are having 0.85 lagging. So this is the electricity generation or AC voltage generation. This AC voltage generation we are giving to the generator transformer. This generator transformer is a step-up transformer. So 16.5 volt is converted into the 220 kV, and that 220 kV electricity is given to the transmission line or the transmission line network, that is called as a grid, and from that grid the electricity is supplied to the various parts of the country. Okay, so here after the work done, what will happen? The steam will having work done in this turbine. After the work done, its pressure and temperature will be reduced. It means the steam will be expanded. After the work done, the utilized steam goes to the condenser, and means in this condenser, this utilized steam is condensed, means it will become the water droplets, and that water is stored in the condense. So here the total cycle of the Rankine cycle is completed. For this condenser, the cooling element is a CW pump. So we are having here the CW pump. Cooling element is a CW water, cooling water. So this coming water is a cool, and after the condenser action, whatever the water going towards the NDCT, that will be hotter than 10 degrees Celsius. This hotter water goes towards the NDCT, this becomes the cool, and this cool water again comes to the condenser, and here the condenser will condenses the utilized steam of the turbine and converted into the DM water. Okay, and this condenser will also help to provide sufficient vacuum in the condenser. So some outdoor plants are very important, like the CHP, that is a coal handling plant. Then WTP, water treatment plant, means in the plant we are using the raw water, we are using the general softened water, we are using the DM water. Then OHP, oil handling plant. Oil handling plant means we are storing the oil, HFO and the LDO. HFO we are having the 2 tanks, and LDO we are having the 1 tank of having the capacity 1500 km. Then we are having the AHP, ash handling plant. In the ash handling plant, the byproduct of this plant is the production of the ash. So nearly 700 tons ash will be produced in a day. It will be 27 bunkers. Then the firefighting department. To operate this total system and for the safety precautions, we are having the firefighting department. So these are the concerned outdoor plants necessary for the working of this plant. Now the generation per day. So here the generation per day is a 6 million units. It means 60 lakhs unit. The byproduct is the ash production. Ash is required 700 tons, that is equal to 27 bulkers, 27 tankers. Then consumption means coal required for a day is 3500 metric ton, which is equal to 59 boxes of a railway. It means completely one rake or one railway required for the one plant. Then water, the raw water is required 17,000 m³ for a day. Then the DM water is required 200 m³ for a day. Then we are required oil, that is the HFO and the LDO. Preferably no oil should be required, no oil should be used, but in case of the emergency or for the light up rolling, you can use oil. That oil should be 3 kL maximum per day. This is the specific oil consumption. Okay, so these are the required. Hope you understand the video. If you are satisfied with this video, like this video, share this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.